Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I get it. You have the niche, the task, the ability to teach people, but you don't know how to make any money off of it. Well, today's episode is all about that. So let's get this one started. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros.
All right, business bros, he started with nothing but refused to let that stop him. Through grit, strategy, and determination, he carved out his place in a competitive market, becoming an authority in his niche. And now he's breaking down barriers, building financial reserves, and turning ideas into success. I'm excited to hear his story. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Elliot Phillips. And just like that, Elliot, we got the show started. Welcome to the Business Bros.
Nice, man. Excited to be here.
All right. First things first, man. I was going through your webpage and it caught a little bit of some attention for me because I actually teach in high school. I teach a class called Financial Algebra to high school seniors, prepping them for real life stuff, buying a car, buying a house, doing their budget, doing their taxes, that sort of stuff. So what you're doing is pretty interesting. Nobody knows what it is that you do. If you can explain it to like a fifth grader, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so we help classroom teachers get their own private students to tutor online.
Simply put, I'm going to do what I already do, but I'm going to do it for more money. How does that work? Walk me through it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like everybody knows there's teachers are responsible for building our future generations, but they're not the best paid, right? And so the fact is a lot of teachers are quitting the profession, but they don't need to. There's a better way to teach without needing to quit. And that's simply just teaching online. And the pandemic shifted the way that education is delivered. More students, parents got used to having Zoom accounts, for example, which meant it opened up the space for teachers to use Zoom to tutor students from the private of their own homes. So instead of, earning a pittance in a classroom, they can use the teaching skills that they've already got without needing to quit and do something different and relearn stuff and just teach online and use their skills there and work with the students they want to teach when they want to teach, have their own schedule. And so it's obviously not for everybody. The school systems need teachers as well. And some teachers absolutely love being there. And that's fantastic. We need that. But for those teachers who are thinking about packing it in and quitting, there's a different way to teach, and that's online.
I've always kind of imagined this kind of like that college setting where you have that college classroom where it's like 30 desks, but then you have that college auditorium with like 500 desks in there, right? And so I'm kind of envisioning that. We're so used to being that in classroom person where we got 30, 40, maybe 50 desks, hopefully not that many, but 30, 40 desks in a classroom. And you're saying we can scale this. Now, I know being in the teaching space, there's a lot of teachers who will give you a ton of pushback. Number of teachers to student. How do you know you're getting the continuing checking for understanding? How are you engaging with students? How are they getting the proper education? What's the number one piece of maybe feedback, or I guess more like an objection that you get when you present projects like this to teachers who maybe have no clue that this is even a scalable business?
Yeah, well, I think it's very in line with what you're saying, that the students get better results in person, and they can't be taught in a group. They're not going to, but exactly like you said already, you're teaching already 30, 40 students in a class. And so you can still teach 30 to 40 students online. I just think it does depend on a few nuances, right, Hernan? Like the subject that you're teaching, the age of student. So they definitely come into it. So for example, your subject that you teach, you could teach to a much bigger group, whereas perhaps a special educational needs tutor teaching an elementary age student would have to have a much smaller group, right? But then that's such a niched subject that they could probably charge more for it as well. And the parents are looking for something more specialized at that. And so you just have to play around with group sizes and price points. And so I really do feel that, you know, we've seen a lot of teachers over the years have that objection of my students won't get better results in a group online. And then a few months down the line, they can't believe kind of what they're doing. And so the reason why that happens is because so many people are just fixated on what actually goes on in the lesson. But to make the group more successful online is what goes on outside of the lesson, the community that you build for the parents and the students, things like that. So they're not just fixated on, oh, we're just investing into this lesson. We just show up on Zoom once a week. What type of community can you build so that the parents and students love it there and they don't have anything like it? And then what kind of resources, learning materials and platforms can you provide to the students outside? And then check-ins and things like that. So I actually think the best approach is a little bit of a hybrid. Some one-on-one touch points throughout the student's journey when they, whether you do that or whether you have a teaching assistant who does it. In the beginning, it's probably you because you're just starting from scratch. Down the line, maybe a teaching assistant.
And like any business, I feel like you're going to get better as you do it over time. But there's always that beginning part where you're kind of figuring out what your style is going to be, what your checking for understanding might be, what your community dynamics might be. But at the very beginning, there's always that challenge of credibility. Teachers, I think, are in a unique situation where there's education behind who they are. So they have some of that credibility already built in. But to build it like a business where you start having multiple students who want to pay to have you, how do you kind of get to have you as a teacher? How do you get, how does the teacher who's never done that before, who's never been paid other than maybe a salary, how do they get over that challenge to build a class of students where this becomes something viable income-wise to kind of replace their teaching job?
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, we've been doing this a while now. I actually think the hardest part of the teachers kind of getting their first students is the sales aspect of it. Kind of really relating to what you've said, that there isn't much trust there. They probably don't have, that would probably be the one skill that they need to get better at, because of course they are selling anyway, right? The teachers are selling their students to do the work and to behave and whatever in the classroom, but it's just a slightly different type of skill set. So if you're starting from scratch, I actually did this with both of my first two businesses. You know, when I initially went online, I was just servicing teachers in the fitness side of things, well-being and that type of stuff. And so I ran a case study offer where I had like 30 days because I had no proof. I hadn't helped anybody before. And so I ran 30 days with like an irresistible, I think it was like 97 pounds at the time. I'll coach you for 30 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Right. And so I had a lot of people come in, because at the same time, they're getting value from you as the coach, and it removes the risk on their part, and they're able to experience great results as well at the same time. And you're having the opportunity to then build and generate testimonials, results, case studies that are going to set you up for long-term success. So we suggest this to some of the teachers that we work with as well. Hey, if you're just getting started from ground zero, you've never taught anybody online before. I mean, most teachers say they have taught online because they had to in the pandemic, but then where I differentiate that is if you've never made a sale for yourself to teach someone online. And so if they haven't done that, we'll normally recommend to, do 30 days as their initial offer and price it at a much lower price point, and then stagger that up. So for example, first 1 to 10 students, 97 pounds or dollars. Yeah. And then students 11 to 25, maybe 150 bucks. And then from there, probably, students 26 to number 50, maybe 250 bucks for the first 30 days. So it's kind of like date before you get married. And then at the end of that period, the 30-day period, offer the student the opportunity to then commit to a longer term. And that will set you up for long-term success, testimonials, case studies, which will be worth its weight in gold, because the parents and the students are looking to invest into tutors that they're confident can generate the result for their, whether it's child or teen, or even an adult learner, right? So the more testimonials, the more results you get, that will just simply overcome that kind of trust barrier, especially when there's so much noise online now as well.
Oh yeah. And just to make this clear, we're taking teachers that are already accredited, they already have certifications, and we're giving them tutoring opportunities. This is not a replacement for school, right? This is not we're not building a whole new education platform, so we don't have to worry about accreditation, that sort of thing. The students are already going to school. We're just supplementing what they're doing as a side hustle, because let's face it, the kids aren't going to learn it the first time. You always need more practice than you think you do. And then there's always questions. I'm sure you get the pushback. Well, can't just AI help me? Can't what some of these you got ChatGPT, you got math different apps that solve your problems for you. Why not just do that? Why go to the whole platform of building a tutoring program?
Well, I think like the beauty of that is the parents aren't in that generation, right? So the parents are always still looking for that personal touch, but the parents are aware of the convenience of online. So I think it fits perfectly. And I actually think a lot of the teachers use AI to their advantage, and we actually teach them how to do that. So I think having the combination of both, and if I was a teacher, I would be using that probably. I say that to a lot of our clients. I'd be using AI in my kind of tutoring package to help the students because it fits, it's current, right? But I do feel that people do want that personal guidance and touch as well. I don't see that being, we haven't seen it be an issue.
You mentioned one of the more difficult things to start for teachers is the sales aspect of it, and you went over crafting a really good offer to kind of help grab that attention. Now, obviously, we have to sell our students in doing the work and getting the stuff done. But the sales process that you're building here isn't necessarily for the students, is it? Who are we targeting, and what's the best approach to build something like that?
That's it. So that's what makes it complicated, right? Because you're not actually speaking to your essential client, right? You're speaking to the parent. And so a lot of it is speaking to the parent. And so one of the things that we actually get the teachers to think about is when they're doing sort of empathy mapping, to think about who their ideal student really is to actually put themselves in the shoes of the parent. I think, what is the parent saying in the coffee bar or whatever in the morning to the other mom or the other dad? What are they saying after school when they're waiting to pick their kids or teens? What are they saying to one another? What are they hearing from other parents? What are they thinking? What are they feeling about their kids? And so that's kind of what we get them to think about. And we actually use AI for that. So we say, hey, if I was teaching this, can you tell me what the parents of this aged student would be thinking, saying, feeling, hearing from other parents who have similar age students about XYZ subject or whatever? And you could get some ideas from that. And then that allows you to really go and communicate to those people.
I know there are a number of different education platforms out there. Even in my school alone, we have a full online version of class that's available. So the students being able to hop online and do their education is not as far-fetched as what some of our older generations might think. It's actually very, very normal on what people are doing. And yet, same thing with businesses. People have built businesses before, showed a model, and then still not have had success, mainly because they make some common mistakes. You've built this platform successfully over and over, where it's been repetitive for a number of different teachers. But what are some of the common mistakes that you see? If a teacher's bought in and it makes sense to them, they see that, okay, I can definitely make some money on this tutoring thing. They decide to get started. How do they fail? What can they avoid? What mistakes can they avoid so they don't fail when they do decide to make this leap?
Yeah. So one of the things that I think, and this isn't just for teachers, I think this is for all entrepreneurial people, right? And it's getting good at all of the skill sets that you need to succeed as an entrepreneur, and giving all of them as much attention as they need. Marketing, for sure. You've got to get good at marketing. Sales, when it comes to delivery, so fulfillment, obviously the teachers are very good at that. That's the skill set that they bring. They're good at teaching their students. Right. So it's just not investing the time to learn these new skill sets that are going to benefit you long term. So getting good at marketing, writing advertising copy, writing emails, social media posts, investing the time to practice and learn sales skills. And so basically becoming a student again, right? And adopting, like business skills and tracking. And so believe it or not, like that's one of the big things that we see. What separates our top clients from perhaps the ones that do okay is the top clients, they track everything. They're religious in tracking their business data. And they would be very good at that, all of the teachers, for tracking their students and how they're progressing. Same with someone who doesn't go to the gym, right? If you don't track your calories coming in and out, then you're not going to lose much weight. Whereas it's the same with business. So just wanting to learn and get good at all of those skills. And I think that benefits them long term, because when you don't have to be amazing at all of them. But if you're going to hire other people down the line to help you as the business grows, and you don't have some sort of idea, where you're not able to understand if that person who potentially comes into your business is doing a good job or not. So I think the mindset of wanting to become a student again themselves.
There's a mindset when it comes to becoming a student that I think we all love, and that's the summer, spring break, the fall, right? All these different break times that we get. And as a teacher, it's one of the perks of being in this field is you kind of get that time off. And I know there's a lot of teachers who are trying to find these side hustles to make up for some of that income that is not there throughout the year, especially when, egg prices go ridiculously crazy and everything is so expensive. And then you have a family, it's times 4. Having a side hustle like this can definitely help people put some money aside, start building some of those cash reserves. But there's also some of that revenue that comes in that's got to be reinvested into their business. And hopefully they're starting to treat this like an actual business. How do you balance, or how do you have that discussion with teachers when they've never really been entrepreneurs? They've only really been employees, and now they have this extra cash flow coming in. How do you determine the difference between reinvesting it into my business versus building some of these cash reserves?
There's loads of different ways you could reinvest your money, right? And you could do like stocks, you could do all sorts of things. But I was actually reading a book recently, and this is something that I can't remember who it was. If it was MJ DeMarco or something like that, Millionaire Fastlane, and even he was like advocating it, right? It's like the best investment you can always make is back into your business, because that's got the potential for huge growth. There's not like let's take for example a teacher. One of our clients went from 0, so classroom teacher, elementary school, 12 weeks later, bringing in like 50 grand. You can't get that sort of return in like in stocks, real estate, like that type of stuff is not going to grow and appreciate like that. So I actually think that the best investment that you can make is just consistently back into the business. The cash isn't growing there on its own, it's just stuck, right? So yeah, learning skills. Invest it into learning skills that over time are going to earn you more money.
The classroom and real life are often so far away from each other. There's the study of something versus the implementation of something. The classroom or the school dynamic has rules and regulations that the real world probably doesn't. And it kind of creates that battle inside the classroom where you got the straight A students who know how to follow the rules and do all those types of things, but you hear it all the time. Those D and C students, they didn't do so great in high school. They become amazing entrepreneurs because they don't tend to follow the rules the same way. They ask questions and they go about the world a little bit differently. Social media is one of those things, again, where you can build a phenomenal business, a great marketing resource, build a brand online. But when you talk about it in the classroom, it's something that is destroying the world. Now, you're going to get a teacher to go into the entrepreneurial space. How do you get their mind wrapped around social media and using it to grow a business versus maybe, trying to stay away from what I should and shouldn't post because I'm a teacher type mentality?
Yeah, well, this is it. This is a hard shift, right? To make, and just what stops people from achieving like a lot of things. But it's a tool, like it's an opportunity. There's never been an opportunity where you can go and use social media to get your expertise into the hands of students who need it. So I actually think it's taking a completely different approach and thinking, what if you don't do that? There's students out there that are going to benefit from whatever kind of subject teacher we're speaking about. There's students who need them, there's students who need the help. And if they don't actually go and use social media and learn how to use it and put their message out there, then those students are never going to find out, or those students are never going to hear about this teacher. So, it's not worrying about what other people are thinking of you, because they don't care about your goals and dreams. Whereas if you're a teacher, who does have big goals, does have big dreams, wants to do something different, then it's a tool that you can use to help you. It's a vehicle that didn't exist years and years ago. So it's a massive advantage. Okay, so just remembering that if the day that you don't post, or the day that you don't get on social media, is the day that a student doesn't know that you exist.
I mean, you're the biggest influence in their life. They see you oftentimes more times than sometimes they see their own parents, and you're already making a big influence in their life, and you can kind of continue that on the education front, even when you're posting things on their social platforms. Let me take you back. There's going to be teachers right now, that light bulb's going off in their head. Like, why am I not making more money off this? I already went to school. I got student loans to pay. This totally makes sense. I can help more students. If you had to start over today and you had this opportunity sitting in front of you, how would a teacher like me who's interested get started, and what can I expect when I head over to teacherprojects.io?
Yeah, if I was to get started, I would use the people I already knew, right? And so there's a lot of parents, because they know somebody. So it's not just like the people that it's the people that are on your social media profiles that would know someone, and there's going to be a huge chain. So I would just actually start reaching out to the people. Let's say that you've got a Facebook profile. Let's just use Facebook as an example. Could be Instagram, could be your email list, LinkedIn. A lot of teachers have got LinkedIn, whatever. So just use that, start reaching out to like everybody, and let them know what it is you're doing. And you're going to run exactly like what I said, like maybe a 30-day launch program to get yourself launched in exchange for some testimonials and results, and let them know about that. But then also ask, who do you know that would also have maybe a teen or a child that would benefit from something like this as well? Because you don't need to pay anything to do that. You're paying with your time, of course, but in the beginning, that's probably going to be the best way, because it's going to help you build those cash reserves so you don't have to invest into marketing. And a lot of people won't do that because they don't want to pay the price. They don't want to invest the time. So, they won't get the results. They won't see the fruit from that. But the people who do, a lot of the teachers that come into our program, they'll do that to get started because they don't have initial cash flow, for example, to invest into things like sponsored advertising. But they'll get started that way. And then it will create a chain. You only need to get one person, and that person knows someone, because it's not like a different business. That student knows 30 other kids at school, right, in their same class. And then the message will spread, and you only need a group of 5 students. If you get 5 students, get some solid testimonials from them, they're going to want to stay working with you. That will be your kind of core group of students, and that'll set you up for long-term success. Get some testimonials, push them into some marketing campaigns, and that'll be the best way to start with. You don't have to put anything down, 0 to start.
They also got little brothers, they got little cousins, they got friends, they got family. And the best thing about being a school-age teacher is those kids tend to stay the same age every single year. You get a whole cycle of new ones that come in all the time. So it's a whole new loop of potential customers that are walking through the door. I know there's going to be others that get held back on the technical aspect of it. Yes, I know how to use Zoom, but I don't know how to process a credit card payment. I don't know how to set things up on a schedule. Like, well, that's definitely not for me. How do you push back on that tech side?
Yeah, well, again, like tech's a skill, so it can be learned. So, I would, in the beginning, YouTube's your best friend, right? So if you don't know how to do anything, we've got so many tools. And that's what being an entrepreneur is about, right? It's learning how to think for yourself, because otherwise you're always dependent upon somebody. So it's using the tools that we have at our disposal. YouTube, I still use YouTube to search stuff every single day, but I don't know, like consistently. So it's getting into that mindset, remembering that you've got that type of thing. We've probably got better than YouTube now. We've got AI, and you can just do a quick AI search, and that will help you. But in terms of like even payments, like you mentioned, in the beginning, it might even just be a simple bank transfer from the parent to you, or a PayPal or something. You don't have to have all of this fancy stuff and tech set up. And you don't need much tech in the beginning to do this. You just need a Zoom account, and you need to make contact some people and then have a conversation with them on the phone or on Zoom, and arrange a bank transfer or PayPal payment. Something would be fine, like, to get started.
And that's it. We're ready to rock and roll. All right. Last couple of things. If people go to your website, teacherproject.io, if they want to reach out to you to find out more about what it is that you offer, what can they find, and what do you do for them?
Yeah, I think we got a few things over there. We got the book, Teaching on Your Own Terms, probably the best way to get started. And it's got like a free course that you can get access to inside of there, where it comes to, like really identifying who you should go out and serve. So you can pick that up inside the book. So that would be definitely the best thing. And then there's other things that you can follow us on YouTube on the site. I think if you go to the download section on the site, you can go and follow us on YouTube. We aim to put out one really good video each week on there. I think we even put like an entire course on YouTube a few weeks back, maybe at the start of this year, but literally just walks you through everything you need to know, the scripts, the messaging templates to use to speak. So where we were mentioning here about reaching out to parents and on your social media platforms, in one of the videos on YouTube, it walks through the exact things to say. And then once you've got them on the phone on Zoom, for example, to potentially speak to this potential student, how you would enroll them and get them set up. It's got all of the scripts and stuff like that. So yeah, YouTube would be a great place to check out. And then of course, if they want to work with us on a private level, there's an application on the site, and one of the guys will help build out a game plan. And the best thing about our team, everybody inside of our team has been teachers, and so they've been through our program as well. And so they'll be speaking with someone who's kind of already had a successful tutoring business and is able to support and help them.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Last question I got for you for today. You've built this tremendous platform. You got a great community. You're helping students learn. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received about business, and how's it helped you?
Yeah, this was back in 2020. I think it was 2021. Yeah, autumn of 2021. So when I first left teaching, I actually went into personal training. So as a PE teacher. So this was 2015 at the time. I went into personal training, and I ended up getting this client in London. And he's became a really good friend, very successful entrepreneur in the UK. Like a lot of people probably know him, but I won't mention his name. But he really took me under his arm and mentored me, and we became very good friends. And then so in 2021, I asked him to come and speak to a lot of the teachers that we had in one of our coaching calls. And it was that bit of advice that he gave then. He said, look, the most important thing that I could say to all of you guys here is stick at this for 5 years and then see where you're at. Don't be unexcited or unhappy in a year when you're not where you want to be, or 2 or 3 years. Wait 5 years and go all out at this for 5 years, then look back and see how far you've come. So attaching yourself to like the long-term gratification, I guess. And so that always stuck with me. And so we actually just passed our 5th year anniversary at the Teacher Project last week.
Congrats.
Yeah, so it was really good to look back at that, and I remember when he came and said that to the clients, and look how far now we've came from 5 years. We're 5 years down the line, and it's of course like tremendously better than where we were at ground zero 5 years ago.
Man, it makes a big difference. You being in physical training, you already know, like you can read about a 6-pack, you can study about how to do the best exercises, you can put together a great nutrition plan, but until you actually take the steps, you're never going to get that 6-pack. And I love that, stick to it for 5 years and you'll see what happens. I'll give you another best piece of advice that I learned from somebody. If you want to shorten the learning curve, find somebody who's already done what you want to do and then follow their process. And that's exactly what you guys can get at teacherproject.io. If you're a teacher and you're looking to build some of that side hustle income, you just don't know where to get started, find a mentor who's already done it. Elliot and his team are doing exactly that. So make sure you guys check out teacherproject.io. Go get your side hustle started. Help more and more people. Don't limit yourself just to the students that you have in your classroom. You have knowledge that can help so many other people. Make sure you guys start by going to teacherproject.io. Elliot, thank you very much for being on the show with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, education's where it's at now. I know school may not be for everybody, but education certainly is. And there are a bunch of educators out there helping people out. So Elliot's out here helping you turn that into some money. Teacherproject.io is all we got for you guys today. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started.